There we go.
Okay,
We're on Instagram and now we're going on YouTube and we'll get going.
let's get the party.
Started.
That's what you were.
Hello, planet Earth. Welcome to Lilia's live stream, the first one of 2024. I'm Lilia. My pronouns are she, hers, they, and them. And today we're back with the Reflective Conversation series with DM Maynard for partners, parents, and family of people in gender transition. Thanks everybody for coming in. If you're on YouTube or on Instagram, and a giant welcome to you, Dee.
Thank you, Lil. I'm right here with you in
I
person in
know.
Spain.
In Spain,
Yes.
transmitting directly from Spain. So Dee, our resident author and speaker and trainer and so many things for us. You are our special guest today.
Thanks, Lil. Thanks.
It's been a long time since we began the series and we met and everything. So it was 2019,
Mhm.
and since we've been very busy.
Yes, we have.
So first, can you tell us how did we connect? How did you meet me?
Well, I met you at a conference in Philadelphia, and it was called the Trans Wellness Conference at the time. And we met through Christy Block. Yes.
Yes, of the New York Speech Lab.
Yes, yes.
Thanks,
And
Christy.
thank you so much, Christy. Look Christy Block up. She's amazing. Voice therapist. So anyway, what we did was we went to dinner with a group of people that we had seen some people's books and some people's information, correct?
That's right. Yes.
Yes. And you bought some of their books and some of their stuff.
I didn't buy yours though.
I know, Lil. We joke about this all the time. I was like thinking, okay, Lil isn't interested in what I do.
Of
But
course.
But when we were at dinner, we started talking about the work that I do, and you were like, "Gee, I think Facialteam may be interested in this," and I think that's how it started. Plus, we could always finish each other's sentences. We clicked right away, right?
Yes,
And so that's how this got started.
absolutely. Of course, that we're very interested because Dee is an expert in the area of the partners, the parents, the family members, and the educators
Yes.
of people who are surrounding and supporting and having their own journey as the person they love or care for or work with is transitioning. So shortly after we met that summer at the Philly Trans Wellness Conference, we decided to do a live stream together.
Yes,
Right?
because you were doing your weekly Wednesdays.
That's right. So I
And
interviewed you
yes,
that
that
very
was a
first
long time ago. I think it was like on it was December 3rd.
before the pandemic.
Exactly.
Yes,
Right.
and it was about your books and all your work, all the work you do. I wanted to share that with everybody. And because people who come to Facialteam are not just patients, it's also parents, family members, partners that come along, and we want to also support them in the journeys. So we did this live stream in December 2019. That was
Mhm.
about your books. So, and we did a blog about it too, about your books and all the services that you offer to this group of people. Where are your books, Dee?
Oh, I don't know. Where did you put them?
They're right behind you.
Oh, there they are.
I always,
I think that what's really important that I would like to stress is that I mean, this is so nice that you have this here, is that it's very important for me to empower the voices of the partners and the parents and educators, because everything we do, everything I do, is for the a person who identifies as trans and gender, diverse, and was questioning their gender. And I feel that it takes an entire team of people, and without others in people's lives, sometimes it could be very lonely and very scary. And but throughout that time, the parents and the partners and the family members may have some to address their own needs and their own unknowns. So that's why we did the books. So that's why I did the books.
fantastic. Yeah.
So
So you have the parents book.
yeah, well, this is the partner one.
That was the first one.
That was the first one, 2019.
Okay.
And then I was so proud that to be represented by Jessica Kinsey Publishers again. And then This one was the one for the families, the parents and the families. And that one they translated into Polish now.
Oh,
I
wow.
know, I'm so excited. And then this one was for, my heart and soul is for education, educating people in any way, but this one's for teachers and support staff of people who are trans and non-binary, they're students. And so yeah, so that's the books.
Yeah, and you always have projects going on and writing, so we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But
Okay.
all of our viewers, if you're on YouTube, I did share the link to the blog, which is about these books and where to find out more about them. And if you want to order any books of hers, okay. So Dee, can you tell us your goals with these workbooks? What is the primary goal?
Okay, well, for me, it was especially now what's going on in a lot of countries. Rights are taken away from people who are trans and non-binary and questioning their gender. And at the time when, especially during COVID, during that time, people were very isolated as well. And I started realizing that sometimes people need to process things in the privacy of their home. And so I wanted to create almost a reflective workbook, something that people can work on little by little, process things as they come up. I asked tons and tons of parents and partners and educators what was important to them, what mattered to them, and that were affecting their lives on a daily basis. And for the parents and the partners, they had a lot of overlap. And so I included different chapters that refer to each one to help them process in the privacy of their home. And now I'm happy to say a lot of therapists and mental health professionals, and medical professionals use the books as a resource and use the exercises. And so that was the point. And then another point is that I didn't want to have any kind of doubt that it was important for the parents and the partners and the educators to process their own journey during this.
Mm.
And to understand that if they what they didn't know, sometimes they didn't know who to ask or even what to ask. And so these books address that also, including a lot of vocabulary and
Exactly.
yeah, and it's not just a narrative, it's games and graphic organizers and different ways, because as a teacher, I know there's different types of learners, so.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's
Yeah.
what I think is so great about your books, is that it's interactive and it helps people to explore their own journeys, their own feelings, around what's happening. And I hear so many people say, I don't know the questions to ask. I don't know the right questions. And these books help people get to those questions because Dee has so much experience and knowledge and has spoken to so many people in the situation. So you have everything that they could ever possibly want to ask in these books as well, no? So that's
Thanks.
very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, oh, you're welcome. It was very important to me to be able to have some type of resources that would really help people that didn't know where to turn. And, we mentioned the conference, but I went to many conferences and I found them extremely, extremely helpful. And then when I would be presenting, people would ask me when I started to present at the conferences, and they say, could you write this down? So I have to really thank all those that encouraged me and thought that this should be something that was written down. And another thing that I would want to mention about this is that you can do things at your own pace when you do it, because sometimes things are very overwhelming and you're not really sure if you can address everything at one time. So you can go back, go do the back first and then do the beginning second. It really is all about the person, the user.
Absolutely. And I just remembering now when we were in Brighton
Oh, yes, we got to go to Brighton
for
yes.
Trans Pride, and we had some of your books to give away. And the people that were most interested in them were mental health professionals, social workers, who are working with family members and parents and partners.
Yeah.
So,
You
yeah.
know, I've been able to do a lot of training with mental health professionals, and when I run some of my groups or my online training or my in-person training, I actually it becomes like a very systematic way for them to address different topics. So the mental health and medical health professionals are a group of people that I didn't know when I first started this, they would be so supportive of the work. And as an educator, they've been very supportive of me, and
they're an amazing resource
yeah,
for lots of
thank
professionals.
you.
So, after we did that live interview with you in December, and then we talked about starting a series
Yes, yes.
based on your knowledge, and you brought a lot of people to the series.
Yeah,
Loads of professionals.
Thanks. Well, you know, for me, I really feel that it's very important to empower the voices of the partners and the parents and educators and have them tell their story, because I think that sometimes people don't get to hear their thoughts and their concerns and their joys and their celebrations of their loved one or of their student. And I think that I feel privileged that I'm able to, you've allowed me and Facialteam to use this platform to bring people on, because I feel that that was the main goal of this, is to provide information that it's not just only in a book, but to have real life stories. And that's why in the books I have the real life stories of many people and portions of that. So people share their own journey and get to hear it firsthand when they listen to our interviews.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not the same reading and doing something on your own, which is important, as in a live interview like this, talking to somebody and having the opportunity to ask questions as we go, which of course you can all do on YouTube. I'm fielding questions, and I think here on Instagram I should be able to manage if I see any of your questions pop up. So shoot away. So how many episodes did we do from?
I think this is our 21st.
This is our 21st.
Right, that's why you said, Dee, since you're in person, you're like, if you want to do it with me, I'm like, Lil, I'd love to. And the thing that was quite special to me is that many of the people that I interviewed, I became friends with after, and trying to figure out how to use a virtual platform was very important to both of us. And because when people were so isolated during COVID, there was sometimes you were in your house for, months, and to have an opportunity to talk to others. And so, I mean, the people that came to speak with me, I'm forever indebted to them. They shared their truth. They shared their confusions. They shared their joys. And they told their stories that perhaps they wouldn't have any other place to tell them. And it was very important to me to create an atmosphere that made them feel comfortable.
Well, I think that we did a pretty good job at making the people feel comfortable and allowing them space to talk about things in an honest and transparent way. And platforms like this are few and far between. There's always more and more being developed. So we hope that us doing this kind of thing is encouraging others to also create their own platforms. And that's what we're going to be talking about later this month. But we'll get to that in a second. First, I want to know, for the series, so the 20 episodes, what is your method? What's the method behind your madness?
The method behind my madness. Well, I don't always know the answer to that. I would say that Well, I start with people that want to do this. If somebody, I think when I first started, I would try to talk some people into it because I really thought that I knew how dynamic they were, but they weren't ready and comfortable. So I learned through all of this, with a lot of patience and a lot of mistakes and trial and error to, unless a person feels ready, even if I know how amazing they are, it has to be up to them. So, if anybody out there is interested in being interviewed, please contact us at dmmaynardworkbook@gmail.com and let me know. And I think that's the best way to do that.
Yeah.
And, Facialteam, of course. And so I meet with people beforehand for probably 45 minutes. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter if they have less time. That let me know that they're interested. I either meet them in person or they write me and say, Dee, I just used your book and I know that you do this on YouTube and Instagram, and I would love to, be able to do this. And then, so then we talk and I get to know them better. Then I create the questions. And I feel it was really important. And it to me, as a person who's interviewed often, to be familiar with the questions that might be asked. I mean, I don't ask anybody anything that would make them feel uncomfortable. And I always say every time, even if you agree to talk about something and you don't feel right or good, you need to tell me. Another hardline rule that I have is that if I interview a parent, if their child is underage, we don't use their name and we don't give any descriptions because I think it's very important to protect children. And even then, if person's an adult, if somebody is speaking about somebody else and they even have their permission, I ask them, let's try to keep them as private as possible. And then I think another part of the method is that I wanted it to be very cozy and warm, like it's in your living room or in your home, that is a place that feels safe and protected. Because when I wrote the books, I wanted people to curl up with them, and then I want them to curl up in an interview, and feel that they're not revealing too much, but enough to help somebody else. Because I think behind all of this is to be of service to others. That's always my goal, is to be of service to others. And so, and then when we do the live YouTube is to have as much humor and as much time that they need. So sometimes you run over and you always so, generous with your time, because it takes sometimes a while for a person to warm up and be live on air. And so, I mean, I'm using TV terms. I don't really know on air. If that's the right thing. Oh my God, showing my
when we live stream.
Okay, live stream. I don't, everybody here who knows me, technology is like, I'm learning rapidly.
And we're not TV professionals or anything, so I
Right,
think that
right.
helps as well because,
Mhm.
it's about having a conversation, and we've interviewed a lot of amazing people in their areas of work or allyship or activism, and yeah, they just don't get time to talk about what they do, and they're so inspiring.
Absolutely.
And people, normal people, just parents doing their thing and saying, how it was for them when their child decided to transition, and really opening up. And I think that's great because there've got to be other people out there who, maybe have seen these interviews and, seeing somebody open up about something so intimate, like even becoming emotional in many cases.
Yes.
You
too. I know. I do. I cry sometimes. I try not to. I tell myself I'm not going to, and then I do. So one of the things that also came out of this is that, and you just made reference to it, is we started with partners and parents and family members and educators, and then it expanded, and we both felt strongly about this, is giving, empowering and giving opportunities for people who are in the trans community. Authors, we've had some beautiful guests from the trans community and from people who do advocacy work, and we expanded, as it went on, we heard people would give us feedback and we wanted to weave that in also. And I feel really grateful for a lot of those opportunities. I learned a lot.
Yes,
And I'm always learning.
me too. So about learning, yeah. So
Yes.
it was about 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Since we started after starting the series, you came to Spain. We invited you over to Spain, and we took that opportunity to do a live interview with Dr. Capitan of Facialteam.
Yes.
And also you came specifically to do a training to teach the people at Facialteam and at HC Hospital as well.
Yeah, which I got to see a lot of yesterday. It was beautiful, the hospital, and I got to see the grounds more at Facialteam, because last time I was doing training so much, I didn't get to see it as much. And Dr. Capitan, I just want to say, he was so professional and so warm. And, sometimes when people hear about surgeons and people in the medical field, they don't think of those two words, but he was compassionate. He was so prepared. And I'm always feel so grateful to him for saying yes when we wanted to do that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So, and we all learned a lot from you.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks.
it was a great training program. And so I highly encourage other companies and organizations to take advantage of these kinds of trainings. Because we got a lot of good feedback from our staff in the hospital about it.
Yesterday I ran into some people and they were talking about, they still remember this that we talked about, and this is something they learned, and it felt really beautiful. I don't know how to say.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, and it was the seed also that planted in Facialteam, no, for us to continue doing many of these kinds of trainings.
Yeah.
So yeah, our psychologists and myself, we helped to develop some more
And
training
I've heard about them and they're wonderful. I heard
thank
people say, yes.
just for our staff,
Yeah,
right? So,
yes.
yeah, so we're very conscious of making sure all of our staff are receiving sensitivity trainings in different areas.
No, it was very clear yesterday, very, very clear. And I think what's so another step that's nice is that everybody's so multilingual. You speak a lot of languages, people were speaking in German, speaking in Spanish, speaking in English, and really saying that they, have the capacity, whatever language a person speaks, to make it be that the person would feel comfortable on their native language. And I think that is a really important thing when you're talking about such sensitive types of work that you do, to have people be able to speak in the native language, especially when you get nervous,
Right.
you're not sure. Yeah.
We tried to have plenty of languages of
I
staff
noticed and you heard it all going on around me. Yeah.
So to move on with this interview, I'm
Okay.
interviewing you.
I know. It's really hard.
Thank you. No, thank you for pointing out these things, because from our perspective, maybe we don't realize, and so it's great to know.
It's clear.
So you also organized the conference yourself.
Yes. Well, I did it with Denise, who I interviewed, and with Paula, who I interviewed. It was the three of us, and they were amazingly helpful, and with different aspects. We all seemed to fit well in doing it, and we were able to do workshops the whole day. It was online. I'm going to be doing it again. And yes, we talked about this, maybe you being involved somehow. I'm hoping in time.
Denise and Paula they come from a partner's perspective then?
Yes, it was a partner's. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, of course. Thank you so much.
It was a conference specifically for partners.
For partners, but we also included inviting therapists, and that's going to be expanded more when we do the next one. And I want to say that a lot of times, so I run online groups now for partners and for families, and we meet once, and for educators. So I usually meet like once a month with people, or once every 2 weeks, or there's many configurations. But one thing that came out of this is that there's a lot of therapists who are also partners. Well, I mean, I don't know if the word would be a lot. There are many that have contacted me. And I've been really fortunate enough to have their trust to come to some of my peer support groups. And they, are able to address their needs and with a lot of willingness, maybe try to take off their mental health professional hat and process things for themselves. So that was a beautiful thing that came out of one of the many things. And then, and now I've been running groups, I mean, and doing it a lot. And it's one of my
For
most favorite
both
things.
partners and parents.
Yeah, for partners, yes. And parents, more workshops with them, but
Mm-hmm.
I run them too, but really a lot with the partners and training school districts and or training parts of different areas.
Administration.
Yes, well, mental health and medical health professionals, nurses, and
Okay.
some schools, what we do is create a cohort, and I meet with them once a month. And we do, for the education book, it's 8 chapters, so we take about 8 months, or sometimes we do it every 3 weeks. It depends on the schedule. And I really go thoroughly through each section of that chapter and address their personal needs, because every school has something different that
Of
needs to
course.
be addressed. And I love working with teachers and educators, administrators. I mean, I love it. And the partners and the parents. What I do a lot with the parents now, me and some of the parents are talking that I interviewed here actually, with this series, and we're looking to put together one for the parents, and maybe have some line with siblings too. You know, because I think that a lot of times siblings are have something to say. And I know there's many organizations though that do address these issues, but we would also be addressing it. And but doing it in maybe a more from an education point of view. And because I'm not a therapist, as we know, and so I'm an educator, and I have a lot of experience with that, working in with different age groups from early childhood up to high school and even in universities. I like working with universities too. I was able to do some things with Georgetown, with somebody was connected to Georgetown, and we were able to do a panel at a university at Suffolk County Community College, which is out in New York, and do some panels. And I was able to have Denise and Paula were able to be part of that, and they were wonderful.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just a lot of nice things.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I think you'll probably be coming back to Spain soon for some other trainings. We'll talk about that in the future.
Okay. We know, yeah.
So in addition to the support groups and the conferences that you're very excuse me, you're very active in. And you also continue to write. It's not, you're not stopping with just these books, right?
Yeah.
So, and part of the writing, I just want people to know is that you've been blogging for Facialteam.
Yes.
How many have you done now?
6. We did 6. Six.
Six.
And we did it based on a lot of the topics that people said they really wanted to know more about. And so some are basic, some are more, we talk, one of them talks a lot about sex and intimacy.
Okay.
Some talk about, education. And I really think that your team here, Simone and Fernando were so helpful to me along the way, as well as you. And that came out of part of the training. I think, that's how one of them had known me. And it's really been again, a great learning experience for me, because I hadn't really done much of that before. And now I feel completely at ease with blogging and doing that.
So if you want to find out what Dee is writing about in these blogs, please check our website. I think all except for one have been published, right?
No,
the last one, they're all up?
Record time. Yep, finished it in 2023.
So great. Well, thank you so much for that.
Thanks for suggesting.
You have a way of putting words together and expressing the feelings that maybe some people don't even know they have yet, and putting it into words. So I think you do a great job.
Thanks. We have on it like 10 suggestions, and every one of them also that are relevant.
They're very
points.
practical.
Yes, I think I tend to be pretty practical sometimes.
Reflective and practical.
That's right.
Just like your books.
Thanks.
So,
You're so cute. I can't understand how cute you are. Okay, okay, okay.
so in this month, later this month, we're gonna be again together again.
I know.
Yay! We're gonna
In
be
Boston.
in Boston at First Event, which is
Yes, I'm so excited.
apparently the longest running uh, trans community event
Yes,
in
yes.
in North America.
Uh-huh.
It used to go by a different name, but now it's First Event. I think it's been going on. Yeah, the organization TCNE have been going for something like 40 years.
It's
So
my first time there.
yeah,
Well, my
yeah,
first
my
time.
first time too.
Oh,
I've
okay.
never been to First
Everybody come, come.
First time at First Event.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm gonna share a link in the chat.
Oh, that's
Anybody
good.
who wants to know a little bit more about that
Yeah, so
on
I
YouTube.
remember saying, Lil, you want to do one together when we start because Lil sent it to me to say, D, I think you should do one on your books. And I'm like, okay, but Lil, how about we do one together? I love working with you. And so we
I was
came
so
up.
honored.
Oh my God. Oh, sorry, I probably shouldn't say. Anyway, Lil, just me. So
So what are we gonna talk about?
we're creating platforms that support,
Of course.
virtual platforms, creating spaces that do that.
Yeah,
And
that
talking,
support the trans community
yes,
and
and
their
their
loved
loved
ones.
ones, right, right. That was like very important to me because we all know why. And
Yeah, so we're doing that one together.
yeah, we're doing that on
Dr.
the,
Julia is doing a workshop also
yes.
on FFS procedures, new techniques, and
And I
also
think Vicky's doing one.
no, that's
No.
something else.
Oh,
No,
that's something different.
it's just Dr. Julia that's coming
Oh,
to
okay, okay.
Boston. And so yeah, he'll be talking about things that people want to know. Yeah, and he'll be
Oh,
fielding
okay.
questions. So yeah, a lot of people are concerned about, for example, things that may not, some complications or consequences of
Yeah.
surgery that are being discussed online. He'll be happy to talk about those. He's going to show some new methods that have been developed as well, and
Oh,
some before and after cases. So yeah, and people, it's free for all the attendees of First Event. And you're
wow.
doing three or four other workshops.
Three others, one for partners, one for parents, and one for educators. And I'm really excited because I'm going to be able to use some of the exercises from the books to do it and make it be really interactive because this is more like very much a community type of conference. I love doing community conferences. I did one similar to it in Victoria, and it was in Canada, and I really love the opportunity because that's also how the one was that we met in
Right.
Philadelphia.
Yeah. You can see behind the Facialteam heart there.
Yeah.
There's a colorful little cover.
Yes.
That's the program book from the Philly Trans Wellness Conference
Oh, yeah,
that we
it's a
met
little
at.
dark, but yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it's behind there.
yes.
I always go
So,
there.
I mean, I think community conferences are very important because they often cost nothing or less than most conferences. Like when we go to ones for medical health professionals, of course, because they're doing different types of things, but this gives people an opportunity to meet those that are in the community. And when I look at the list of people that are presenting, they're really fantastic, SJ
Yeah.
Langer is doing one, and I think Marcy Bauer is doing one.
Yeah.
And I've seen like a lot of really great, people that are really important in the community. So I'm very excited to, be part of this and then present with you. And then we want to hear from other people what platforms they do so we can help promote them, because that's one of the things of this series is if a person's an author, I want to help promote them. I want them to do any way to have their voices heard. If it's an author, I read their books, I go through it, just, like a school teacher would. And I take really good notes and I really want to know about them. We used Dr. Colt. We did one of his books. I mean, another great person in the community. And, that's my goal now is to make sure that when we do the books is that we really let people know what it's, exactly about. And that's the same thing with the platforms. If you're doing something special, I want others to be able to know about it. And if we can make that happen for you, please let us know. Even if you're running support groups or you're doing something, let me know, because the more the merrier. It's better for the community. in person,
Absolutely.
online.
It's all about community. So yeah, that's why, yeah, this is working for us, I think, because
Yeah.
it's not just about one person or one type of person, where it's
No.
about the family unit, isn't it?
Yes,
So
yes.
um,
And that includes partners.
mm,
And part of the system of the community is educators. And I think that many times, even in university level, people don't realize the influence that they have in people's lives, and they could make their life be so much easier and help a person feel really cared about and accepted and safe. And I always say, I'm here to educate, I'm not here to convert. I don't think anybody has to believe the same way I do or you do,
mm,
but they have to find a way to not do any harm to somebody in the community and or their family members or their loved ones,
absolutely.
you know?
Yeah, yeah. So we're all learning here from each other.
Yeah.
So to give some closure here, I just want to mention that Facialteam is also doing peer group sessions, which is similar
Yes, yes.
to support group. We have one on Facebook.
But aren't you going to do something kind of like that? There's going to be
Exactly,
at
at
the
first event,
conference.
yeah,
Yes, yes.
on both days, on Friday and Saturday.
Yes, yes.
For just an hour and a half, just after
Mhm.
lunch, we reserved a space, and we have people. Dee will be moderating one of the groups
Oh,
on Friday.
I wasn't 100% sure about that, but
You said you would.
I would 100%. I didn't know if you.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah, of
I'm doing that.
course.
So I'll be doing that then. I think my date is on Friday.
That's right. And we have another person coming from experience who's
Yes,
had FFS with Facialteam, who will be moderating on Saturday.
yes.
And she also has a lot to bring to the
Oh,
table because
yes,
she's
yes,
doing a lot. She's doing her own workshop,
yes,
Stephanie Colton.
yes.
And
Wonderful.
yeah, and she's also, yeah, running support groups herself. So yeah, please come and join us at first event in Boston. You
Yeah.
can find out more on WOVA, the WOVA
Goals,
site,
goals.
and sign
Yeah,
up for that,
yeah,
for all those different things. So
yeah.
yeah.
You know, when you were asking me before, with the workbooks, you know what, I'm, something that would be great is if there's anybody out there, anybody that knows any Spanish publisher that would want to translate the books now that it's in Polish, I
Oh,
would love it, because that's the number one request I'm getting. I did some presenting in Chile recently, and doing work in Mexico and doing
yeah.
different things, and of course in Spain. And I really would love to do it. That's like the number
Talking
one
about
request.
languages, yeah.
Yes.
Let us know who can translate out there.
Yes.
He wants translators for her
Yes,
books.
but yeah, publishers that can do that.
Right.
Yeah,
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 it's got to go through the publishers. So,
yes,
Dee,
yes.
where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Um,
I'm
well,
using your own method.
oh, uh, I see that I will become very fluent in Spanish
Oh.
with the hopes of working more with Facialteam.
Never know.
Training, doing a lot of training and the support groups, being of service as much as I can. If people need something and I can help, my answer will be yes. And no, you know that. And enjoying life with my spouse, traveling, and training in different countries, and getting a couple of books published that I have in the works right now.
Mhm.
And yeah, and just being alive in 5 years. So we
That's
all want that.
definitely a good
Yes,
goal.
that is a pretty good goal when
Like
you
that
say.
one. Absolutely.
Yes.
So I think that's the perfect closure, actually,
Yes,
for this live stream. We've been going
yes,
now for an hour as usual.
yes,
We're never
yes.
able to keep it under an hour.
Well, I want to thank you for everything that you've done for me, and for your friendship, and for your professionalism,
Uh,
and for your support. And
Thank you, honey.
you're welcome, my love.
Ay,
And you have a
You
beautiful
too.
family. I love your family.
Oh, thank
That's all
you.
I want to say.
Thank you too for everything you do and for your, yeah, the energy that you bring to the table and the desire to yeah,
Mhm.
educate and move things forward
Mhm.
in a positive way. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And Facialteam for the work that they do.
Of
I
course.
really, seeing it yesterday in action was an incredible moment. So,
Oh, thank you.
okay.
Well, yeah, they're the ones creating this platform, allowing
Well,
us to
yes,
to
yes.
blabber here, not blabber
Yeah.
really, but to talk about important
No.
issues here for, a good amount of time.
So if
And
you want it, right, you want to be interviewed or you have a suggestion for somebody, you just want to inquire, please reach out to one of us. I
Sure.
really would be interested and we can do everything online and you don't need to have any experience doing this, just a story that you feel
Exactly.
comfortable sharing.
Fantastic. Thank you all for watching, for being here. And remember to like, follow, share with your lovely friends. And remember, your health and happiness matter. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. We're still live here on YouTube.
Yes, yes. Hello, live on YouTube.
Bye bye, YouTube too.